excited to be on here. Welcome to my studio. This is what we're going to be painting today. And yes, we are going to sketch it with a paintbrush and then paint it in all using acrylic paints, no pencil. Now, of course, if you feel more comfortable using pencil, you do you, you do what makes you happy. So go ahead and gather up your supplies for making a painting or just follow along and draw and color with me if you don't have your paints. So go grab your supplies and we'll get started soon. Okay, so I have a detail brush and I call this the medium brush and a bigger flat brush. And so we're going to be using these to create our painting. And then I have some napkins. I have a water cup to clean my brush. Although I won't be doing a ton of cleaning my brush because I'm going to be using some similar colors. So I don't really need to. And then, of course, I've got all of my colors. I just went ahead and gave myself all the colors. That's usually what I do for my students here at the studio. And so why not just do it for myself? You never know, I might change my mind. We did this one on canvas on Monday. It's just a cute little 8x8 canvas, and I told the kids if they could keep it a surprise for about a month, it would make a perfect Mother's Day gift, would it not? Yes, it would. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of the video, I am going to use my detail brush to sketch out my design. Now, yellow and purple are complementary colors. That means that they're across from each other on the color wheel and they look good together. So I'm going to start out with a very sketchy rectangle. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to do a little bit of a diagonal and a little bit of a diagonal, just like so. Again, this needs to be a broken line. It doesn't need to be perfect. We want it to dry pretty quick. So I just have a tiny bit of paint on my brush and I'm just getting some quick sketches across. So now I'm going to put boop and boop across. So this is kind of like a table line. So it looks like my flower pot sitting on a table. Next, we're going to do a circle for the center of our daffodil. And then we're going to do some flower petals. So these are just little bit curved, just like so. Awesome sauce. There we go. So you can add as many petals as you want. Now, when these are not all the way open, they kind of look like cones in the center. And then they have like these wavy lines at the top of the cones. And then the petals come across. So that's what this would be. If we could see it from the side, it would look like a cone. But from the top or the front, it just looks like a circle. This is going to be that cone right here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have some that just appeared in my garden, years ago. And now they pop up every year. And I love it. I'm sure the birds or squirrels probably carried them in. So this is what we have so far. All right. Now they're just floating. They need some stems. So we've got to get some stems on there. So I'm going to do a little stem here, curve there. And then these kind have really long, skinny leaves, kind of like irises do, but I think they're skinnier than iris leaves. And iris leaves are kind of thick and pretty sturdy, right? And they just like take over those leaves, too. It's so funny how much green there is when it comes to iris and daffodil leaves versus flowers, right? So, anyway, so we've got our sketch on here. So that is the base. That's the basis of it. Okay. So now I am going to put that cup in my water. I don't want to let it just hang out because then it will um, get stiff, right? Now, yellow is my dominant color on daffodils. So I chose a purple background because, again, purple and yellow are complementary colors. To lighten the color, I can do a chunk of white, little bit of purple, and you just keep adding purple till you like it. Now, you can do that with any color on your plate. If I do it with red, I'll wind up with pink. If I do it with black, I wind up with gray. If I do it with brown, I wind up with tan. So it's all up to you. So I'm going to just kind of work on getting all of this space filled in like so. There we go. Sweet. And it's kind of tricky in here between the petals and the leaves and the background, but we can do it. There we go. Awesome. So I'm just kind of working my way around slowly but surely. Now, I work pretty quick because I have done this a million bajillion times. Not this particular painting, but painting on here. So we're just gonna work our way around. There we go. All right. So now, there we go. We got our background painted. There we go. Awesome. Now, as you kind of finish up doing your background, you might go around, do a quick little double check. Did you get all the white spots? Sometimes paint is a little tricky to paint on paper. It's like, I don't know. Um, it's smoother than canvas, but it just is a little different the way the paint like doesn't just glide on it instantly starts like absorbing the paint, whereas on canvas it doesn't. The paint just dries on top, if that makes sense. There we go. So we've got all of our background done. So we could add a little color on this table line. I didn't even clean my brush. They belong to the same color family. I figure it's all good. And if they do mix a little, that's okay. There we go. Anytime I paint a space, I do try to outline next to things so that way I don't accidentally paint them. All right. Next, I thought I would go ahead and do the green. Okay. So there's lots of different greens you could do. You could definitely grab a chunk of white, add a little bit of green, and kind of go minty green, right? Or you could get a chunk of yellow, add some green to that, get lime green. Okay. Or you can do the green on the plate, or you can get a little bit of red, mix that into your green, and get a dark green. Now, if I do too much red, it does go brown. So you got to kind of watch that. But there we go. There's like a good Christmas tree green. So now we've got 4 different greens on our plate that we could use for our greenery. Anytime you do that, it just instantly is going to up the excitement and the interest. So anytime you can have more than one value. So what if we just start with just the green that is on the plate, the green out of the bottle, and whatever greens are in my brush, honestly. There we go. Nice. I think that, oh, that was dark green. Oops. There we go. Oh, this is green right here. Green here. Oh, that's not green. Wipe that off of there. It's okay. Usually, if we make oopsies in art, we can fix them. So I don't worry about oopsies in art. There we go. Okay, that is all of the green, I believe. So now I could go in with like pops of lime green and stick some lime green in there to kind of lighten it up, like pick an edge. Maybe the left side is going to be the lighter edge. Then I could go in with my darker green and hit the right edge with the darker green. So it looks like the left side is in shadow and the right side is in highlight. There we go. We could even go in with just a little bit of the minty green and just put a few pops of that in there too. So I love layering and layering and layering my paint colors. I love doing that. So now I do feel like I probably should clean my brush. So I'm going to smush this thing around in here really good, wipe it on the inside of the rim, sweep it on my napkin to dry it. And then now, instead of going straight yellow for the centers, what if we do like a mac and cheese color? So that's like yellow and orange mixed together. And we fill our centers with this kind of mac and cheese color, just like so. There we go. Yes. Love, love, love. And then while this is in our brush, what if we come in with some dark orange? Put a little pop. Oh, we shouldn't have put it on that side, huh? Strike that, reverse it. Let's put it on the other side. Since we're doing all of our shading on the right side, we should do that. There we go. There we go. And the underside, and the underside. Maybe a smidge there. There we go. And then later we can go in with like pops of white. So I'm going to clean my brush again because the orange is too dark and it will just take over. Now, to make a really cool yellow, what you can do, let's get this out of here, is put a little bit of purple into your yellow and mix it up really good. And that's going to give you more of this golden yellow, which is gorgeous. And we're going to use that on all of our petals. There we go. Being kind of sloppy. But that's the cool thing about art. Like, I like when art isn't just like exactly perfect. I mean, art that looks exactly perfect is beautiful, but I kind of like the imperfections in art too, like quite a bit. Makes my heart happy because anybody that strives for perfect work is just going to keep striving and striving and striving, which is not a bad thing. But like, I don't ever want somebody to get discouraged and quit because they can't get their art quite perfect. There we go. So now, what if we add some shading in here so we get a little bit more purple, make it a little bit deeper. And what did we say? We said right side. So about there, 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 right or under, either one. Right or underside. So right, 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 underside, underside. There we go. And then that means we've got to pop the other side with a highlight. So whichever side has the shading, the other side needs the highlight. There we go. And sometimes between the shading and the highlight, we just kind of lose. Oops, that was the wrong side. We kind of lose our original color, but that's okay. There we go. Gorgeous. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some extra white here and some white here and there. Oh, yes, beautiful. Notice that I am holding my brush a little further back when I'm trying to do loose brush strokes, whereas I like to hold it right on the grippy whenever I'm doing exact perfect brush strokes. Not exact perfect, but detail. There we go. Okay, the last thing is that pot. So what if we took a little bit of orange, mix that in with some of our brown, and maybe a pop of white in there to soften it up. That kind of gives us a terracotta feel. And then we're just going to sweep this paint on here. So I do have class here shortly, a homeschool lesson every Thursday at 1. So I'm almost finished. That way I can get their lesson all set up. They're going to paint the exact same thing. This is what we've been doing this week. I figured this was a good spring project, especially since these little guys are probably popping up in some people's gardens. I'm surprised mine haven't popped up yet. There we go. Now we said shading was on the right, so we're going to add just straight brown. Go brown, and then sweep, 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 sweep. Nice. And then added a little bit more white in there for the highlights. There we go. White down the side. I loved it when we did this lesson Monday night when I did it with the kids because they just came up with some really incredible stuff. Kind of blew my mind, all their own special touches that they added. Most of my kids on Monday night are probably between like, no, 6 or 7, haha, um, on up to maybe 9, 10. There we go. So this one has highlights on the right, and this one has highlights on the left. So it is a little different. That is okay. There we go. Oh my goodness, I love it. Love, love, love. Now, the cool thing is because I forgot to tell you guys, I did masking tape around the edge, and that's not to hold it up on the whiteboard. That is to create this beautiful border right along the side. So you want to make sure that you get your tape down good, but not so good that it's going to rip the paper. It did rip a few of the kids' papers the other night, and they were kind of sad, but we were able to stop where the rip was and then start pulling from the opposite direction and then just stick glue up underneath the tear. So it worked. Oops, see, like that. That one's ripping the paper. So we're going to go this way like that. And then see where this little flap is right here? We would just put some glue up underneath that little flap and get it to lay down. But this, my friends, is our painting, and it turned out so good. So, so good. So I would love to see your version down down in the comments. So if you guys ever do this project, definitely snap a picture of it and drop it in the comments because it really fills my heart when I get to see what people do at home when they're doing art at home. So, anyway, you guys have an amazing Thursday or Friday Junior, an awesome weekend, and we'll be on here. I will be on here again soon. So, you guys will definitely have to catch me for